Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm gonna discuss more about the employment and how employers and managers treat you and what sort of things you can do. You do have the law on your side, so the legislation is there in your countries to protect you in your employment. So there is a loophole what employers, when they try and dismiss you, you can challenge them on that reason. So if they don't have a legitimate reason and they're just saying, oh, because your performance, but they need to say what specifics of your performance, because performance is very broad, very vague, where they get rid of you as an individual in employment. So the way around this is to challenge them on it, and if they don't have the answers, this is when you can, in your countries, so like in the UK you have ACAS, you go to ACAS and you go through early consolidation to mediate before settlement, before it goes to tribunal. Most employers, they are very, very stubborn because they don't like being they say that they're like, oh, he's putting a claim against us. But with ACAS, it's more mediation, but then they decline and then the certificate's issued. So then that means it goes in your court to pursue a claim. And then that's when the other side will say, oh, we're going to put cost warnings against you. And the way I respond in that is, I say, well, it's at an early stage. It's not recommendable to do it. If you wish to do so, by all means, do it. Because it doesn't really affect me. At the end of the day, it's down to the judge to decide to put that cost warning onto the claim. So then you're going to pay £1,000 to pursue the claim, because they say, oh, it's £1,000 deposit to proceed to the tribunal, and the deposits for pursue a claim without ACAS is £250 before, and now they've taken that away, and it's all free for people to pursue claims to the employment tribunals, and now the employers are more saying, oh, we're going to put a cost warning and threaten with a cost warning, and they say, well, they want you to settle with no compensation, but they'll offer you references, and that like references does not mean nothing. It's what they have done, and they're not seeing the reality of their consequences. So they're threatening and threatening and threatening, and it's they're just breaking down because they just don't know what to do, because they've either never been pursued into a tribunal before, if it's like a small established business, a private business, or let's say if it's a big organisation, and that they say, well, your case has got no merits, and they try to threaten you, say, do not, if you do this, we'll put a cost warning. And I've had 5 of these cost warnings, and I've got all these tribunal cases coming up over the next few months and few weeks, and the full hearing next year, or the 4 hearings will be next year. So it's so it's down to the judge to decide at the preliminary hearing if it's feasible to put a deposit order for me to pay or for someone to pay. Then most likely judges do not like doing these cost warnings, and they see the respondent being very unreasonable, because the person has pursued a claim against their establishment, and they've taken it very personally. And I would say that they're kicking the toys out the pram really, really early on. And if you're trying to negotiate settlements, they just don't want to know. They're just like, well, if we'll offer you this if you do this, but we're not offering you financial settlement. But they've not got the actual consequence of it. Even if you withdraw that claim and you get satisfactory references, but references don't mean anything. It's just more pursuing the justice, especially if you've had so many different employments. After all, the references doesn't really mean anything. It's just a bare reference saying you've worked this day to this date, and that's it really. So there's nothing special about a reference. And yeah, so that's what I'd say on that certain aspect. So yeah, if you have any more questions about employment tribunal claims, yeah, so I say it is go with your feeling, because at the end of the day, you come in with nothing, you go with nothing, and everything that a person does, there's always consequences, and you just got to weigh out the consequences, the pros and cons, and every single step, I believe in my cases, no matter what. And I have proven my solicitor wrong on 3 of my cases, and he's like, how do you do that? Like, I said, look, I believe in my cases, and it, yeah, and the employers start to settle because I'm not stepping down. I'm saying no, this is this. Eventually, someone has to give way. It's either them, or you just fold and just part ways on your claim. But you put all that time and effort in, you might as well pursue it all the way. And then time it gets to the full hearing, all the costs that they've incurred is 10,000 to 26,000 pounds, which is quite a lot, where they could have settled it and departed ways without incurring more fees. But these people don't realise how much what they're doing. So most of it is the insurance will pay out. Their insurers will pay out, and yes, and this is what they. So where your insurances will work is like most of the insurances would rather the respondent to settle the matter than pursue a tribunal claim, because it saves more money with their insurer. And if they lose the claim with their insurer and they get another claim, their premium goes up. So the premiums go up. Where if they settle the case, the premiums stay exactly the same. It hasn't cost them as much. And so this is what the pros and cons that they got to look at before they're viable as a business. And also what I'm planning to do is do some videos and just to expose them a little bit more, because they are being unreasonable, like threatening cost of warnings, someone with a protected disability or a protected act, or someone that is vulnerable. It is not fair for them to go through that and for them to be bullied to not to pursue a claim. Everyone has a right to pursue a claim, and these people don't want you to stick up for your own rights. They'll bully you, intimidate you, harass you. that they'll try to victimize you more. But with their victimization, when their solicitor sends it, you hold that solicitor account, and also you put them on notice. And this will get them very on edge because they're thinking, why has he done this? Why has she done this? The reason is everyone in their positions, solicitors, are accountable for their actions. Anyone's accountable for their actions. Anyone. So they got to look, well, okay, they're going to defend the claim, but is it the behaviour and the code of conduct that they've used, is it appropriate? If it's no, then they are held accountable for how they send emails over to you. And the emails that I receive are discriminatory. And I hold that solicitor account and put them on notice. So when I put them on notice, it means I can put a claim against that individual solicitor for a common law a tribunal court. And so then you have a panel and the judge. So that's where I'm looking at to pursue this. And so I'll put them on notice. Once I did that, they issued the cost warning straight after that. So because I sent that, because they sent all the threats about the cost warnings, and I said, well, I'm putting on notice because you're not being treating me with dignity or respect. You've been very hostile. You've been this, you've been X, Y, and Z. You've not treated me with dignity and respect as an individual. And this is, I'm a sovereign person, an individual. So when they do this, I always challenge them. And when I challenge them, they get all defensive and then they send the cost warning. So they look more weaker on what they're doing. So some of you may not agree, some of you may agree. Everyone's got different opinions, different views. And this is what I like on social media. I've learned a lot more looking through your comments, and I've learned quite a lot from your comments and had good in-depth discussions. Yeah, so if you have any questions about the employment tribunals and the process of the claims and how things work, that as long as the legislation is in place, you are protected. And it's down to the judge and the panel to decide if your case has merits to proceed to a full hearing. If it doesn't, then the case will get striked out and there's no harm done. So then there's no cost to you and no other cost to the other side. But yeah, if you did it all on your own, there's no cost to you. And if you have a solicitor, then there'll be some costs for that preliminary hearing and the case management side of things. But if you're doing it on your own, their solicitor will be doing all the case management. So you send all your documents over to them, they put it into a bundle, and you agree what should be in the bundle, what shouldn't be in the bundle. You say, yes, I like this into bundle, no, I like this into the bundle, that be taken out of the bundle. So yeah, you just build up your case. So the bundle is a maximum of 80 pages long, because any more than 80, the case can go on for another few more days. The maximum is 6 days to 7 days for the full hearing. So for the smaller cases, around about 3-4 days hearing. If you got a disability, so the cases can go to 6 days. So then they can get all the witnesses from their side and listen to your side as a witness. And then you can ask the other side questions, and X, Y, and Z. So that's how it all works in employment tribunals and courts. And like I'm now I just don't have no emotions at all because of where I've been treated through these employers. It has destroyed me, and I should not be the person who I am today. I should not be fighting for rights and trying to make it a better place, but it's really, really hard. So I with but yeah, if people all come together and say, look, we've had enough, it's a bit like when the lockdown happened and literally everyone's at home and people's thoughts changed a lot because they're thinking, well, okay, we're at home, we're getting paid, and then over time, they're thinking, do you know what, this is getting too much. Do you know what, we're going to go out, we do this, we do that. People was all out on the round doing stuff, and there's like protests going on, and loads of other stuff going on, and people just don't like being controlled. And this is what happens with these organizations, these businesses. They think they're above the law, and no one's above the law. Even I'm not above the law, but I stick to the law, and I follow the law and the guidelines, and hopefully I can be a policymaker to change certain things in the employment law and the legislation for the Equalities Act and the Workers' Rights Act, and how they conduct things in employment. And also, I feel that the things that I'm doing, it's not just for me, it's for the younger generation that is going to be working in these organisations, and they will need all the support they need, especially when the governments are trying to get those with disabilities into the workplace and they get discriminated and victimised and bullied and harassed. There needs to be more in place to protect them. And it should, like the schools are changing as well. They're adding things in for the kids, those with additional needs, and for their education. So there's a lot of, there are changes happening, but it's very, very slow changes. And hopefully with me doing more awareness, hopefully I can re-establish a better world for people that are working. And it's not just for disabilities, for everyone. And what employers forget is you as a individual bring value to their business because you're bringing them income. But let's say, for example, one day everyone was just sat down and chat. Do you know what? We all had enough. Right, we'll walk out the door. We'll go on strike. just have a picnic outside, and the manager say, why are you all outside? Well, we're striking. We've had enough. How are you treating us? And literally, let's say for example, all the factories, they switch off all of their machines, so all the productivity, everything stops, because now the business is losing more money. And what they're going to do is fire every single individual, that they'll have no staff to run the factories, or the say lifeguards and swim teachers. Let's say if everyone went, do you know what, we're all walking out, we've had enough. Well, that we're not getting pay rises, we're not getting this, we're not getting that. The employers don't really care about any other employees. All they care about is their profits. They increase the prices up more. So and you're working, continuously working to pay bills, pay this, pay that, and you're in this constant cycle, and you're thinking, can you ever get out of it? That there is ways to get out of it, and there are ways of making money, different ways, starting your own business, and various ways you can do it. There's so many different ways you can do it today. And that, all I say is, you everyone has a choice where they want to be, and it is take a leap of faith and take that action, because you only have one life, and it is what you can change and make a difference to others. And that is what I actually believe in, is making a difference for everyone else. So finally, I'd like to say thank you watching my video, and if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and comment down below if you got any questions, and I'll try and get back to you in those comments down below. Also, I've got some links down below to support the channel, so if you'd like to have a look at those links, anything that interests you, would really much appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side, guys. Thank you very much.